So in this video, I'd like to address something important, which is a word that we're seeing all over the place. There's this pushback against AI and the use of AI to produce content, and there's this word that people are using, AI slop, or description, to describe AI-produced content output. And I really think it's misguided. I think that there's absolute validity to the point that most people don't want AI producing content because nobody wants to talk to a machine. People value human connection and human creation, and that should never change. So I think there's a couple of important points. The first one is that AI should not produce content autonomously with no human in the loop. That's bad. Okay. Secondly, people are going to be using AI to help them produce content. There's no question about that. That is not going to change. I see it all the time. So does everybody else. In fact, I would say that certainly in the tech industry, most content that you read these days has been processed by AI, and that's the key word, is process. So I like to use this word, AI-augmented content. There's a human that starts with the idea. In our case, with Agent Craft, there's a human voice. It starts with a voice note. You speak your thoughts. But then AI is used to help you format, to refine, to make things more interesting, to make things formatted appropriately for the destination. That is a productivity tool, and that's not going away. Everybody's doing it. But really what you want to do is you want to make sure that the output doesn't become AI slop, doesn't sound like generically outputted AI, certainly has the human connection and the human origin. And let me show you a little bit from Agent Craft's perspective how that's done. So, what we're looking at here is an X post, which was written from me. Again, it started as a voice note, so none of this begins and ends with AI. It starts with a voice note, and I recorded probably a 45-second to 2-minute voice note to produce this particular piece of content. And I'm not going to ask you to read it right now, but I can tell you it does sound like me. Why does it sound like me? Because Agent Craft has learned my voice and has refined its understanding of how to write in my own voice from my voice notes over time, and it does this automatically. So I'll show you how. I'm just going to go into the settings down here, click on the team, and then I'll come down to myself, and you'll see as I open up my profile, there's a thing called a voice profile here. So this is something which is a living document. Every time I record a voice note in Agent Craft, it learns from my voice. It learns how I speak, how I don't speak. So I'll just go through this briefly. What you push against, it's got these things that I push against, how I argue, historical analogy, reductive via parallel. This is sort of technical stuff related to how people speak and write, but that's how it's interpreted my voice. Here are phrases that I reach for. So as I use phrases more and more with voice notes, it picks them up, it uses them, and then it references them later when it wants to help me write. It's going to use the phraseology that I already use. It's going to include phrases that I never use, how I structure my posts with opening moves and closing moves, consensus, pivot, declare. Again, this is slightly technical, but this is how it's interpreted my voice. And then, of course, my energy, my warmth, my formality. I found this kind of fun. It's given me a 2 out of 3 on warmth, and it's given me a 1 out of 3 on formality. I think that's just kind of interesting. And then where my voice is strongest. So, in short, this is something that updates. Every time I record a new voice note into Agent Craft, it listens to the output. The output might be 40 seconds to 2 minutes. It learns my voice, and then it, of course, produces the output. And at the end of the day, when people read that output, it shouldn't sound like AI, and it shouldn't be labeled as AI slop because it started with a voice note. It sounds like me. It uses my phraseology. It even uses how I open and close arguments and all those types of things. So, and final point, this is not going away. This idea that people are going to stop using AI and just start writing again by themselves, that's not going to happen. So I think what we need to do is we need to adapt to a new world where people do use AI, but the AI is just not producing AI slop. It's producing human originated content that sounds like the human and is well formatted and is appropriate for its destination and all of those other things. And that's a given, and it's a fantastic thing. This is a huge productivity tool that I hope everybody would just embrace, and I think that they will over time. Thanks.